Hello students, now we are going to learn one of the questions of mathematics and especially mechanics, and this question is based on acceleration and deceleration. So let's read first question, try to understand what are the informations available, and with the help of these informations what other things we can find. Okay, so let's get started. A car starts at rest from a point A and moves in a straight line with uniform acceleration of 1.2 meter per second square. The car then decelerates at a uniform rate of 1.6 meter per second. Coming to a stop at, I think decelerates units is not right. It should be 1.6 meter per second square. I mean 1.6 m and s to the power minus 2. Same like this here, right? This one. So similarly it should be a minus 2. Okay, so again the car then decelerates at a uniform rate of 1.6 meter per second square, coming to a stop at B. The total distance covered between A and B is 1600 meter. Find the total time for the journey and the greatest speed attained by the car. So this is a kind of simple question. Let me explain over here. So this is my x-axis, I can say. This is my y-axis. Okay, but while solving questions of mechanics and especially acceleration and speed, we don't use x and y. Generally we use here time. It is time. Okay, so and we can name it by a small letter, that is a small t, and here this is speed. Okay guys, so this is speed, and speed we can consider by v. Okay, now let's read this question once again. The car starts at rest from point A. So rest means velocity or speed will be 0 and time will be 0, so that point I can say as A. Now it moves in a straight line, but it accelerates. It accelerates means velocity must be increased, but it moves in a straight line. So a straight line means like this. Okay, and it will reach to some speed, but after that something happened and the car starts decelerating, and finally it is stopped somewhere. The stop means velocity will be 0, right? So velocity will be 0. It will again come on time axis or x-axis. So we reached, the car reached at this point, and this point has been named as B. So this will be a maximum, because speed was increasing and it was the maximum, right? And after that it is decreased. So this is my maximum V. I am writing as V. Okay, so if I consider this as a triangle, so it can be considered as height, that is V. I'll use this concept later. Okay, so I have already done this question. Let me explain from there. And this graph was important. Everything in this question is the graph. If you know how to draw the graph, then you can easily solve the question. Now the next part, we understood the concept. Now we are going to understand how can we solve this. Okay, so now we can come here. So guys, same graph here. So this is my maximum velocity, that is V, but while increasing, how much time it has taken, that time I have considered by t1. And then after that, when it started deceleration, and that took time t2, right? So total time taken for the journey from A to B is total time, guys. Total time would be t1 plus t2, right? Okay, when accelerates, so it has started from here and it has reached here, right? When it has started, at that time velocity was 0, so that is u, initial velocity. and final velocity I have v generally called final velocity, and that also have considered as v. So final velocity is v, time taken is t1, and acceleration is given. Acceleration means positive sign, and deceleration means, that is, deceleration is also a acceleration, but that would be in negative sign. So a is 1.2 meter per second square, right, because it was accelerating. Okay, done. Now we need to apply this formula, v equals u plus at, because we have we already considered final velocity as v, initial velocity already we have, acceleration we have, and time taken for acceleration is t1, from here to here, that is t1, right? Okay, so v equals v, and I kept v as it is, and u equals 0 from here, a is 1.2 from here, and t is t1. So v over 1.2, that is equal to t1. So this information was very, very important, guys. We got t1, I mean first the time taken in acceleration we got. Now if we get another time for deceleration, then how can we get, guys? Okay, for deceleration also we need this graph. Okay, so yeah, we were here. So guys, okay, so this is for deceleration. For deceleration, this is my initial velocity, right? For deceleration, because we are starting from here and ending here, so this is my initial velocity. And for deceleration, here it will be final velocity, right? So here final velocity will be 0 for deceleration, and guys, initial velocity will be v, which we had considered at this point, right? So when decelerates, guys, the initial velocity I will say v, because I considered maximum velocity was v, so that's why v. And final velocity was 0 here, it stopped, that's why. And the very important point is a I have considered minus 1.6 because it decelerated. So when deceleration, then acceleration will be negative. Okay, then again we will apply same formula, v equals u plus at, but this time final velocity is 0, here you can check, right? And initial velocity was v, at this point it was v, and a is minus 1.6, and t is, t you have to consider only this much time. Okay, this much time you have to consider. So this much time I had already considered, that was t2. So v is 0, u is v, a is minus 1.6, and that is t2. Now shift this v to left side, so it is minus v, and minus 1.6 divided by minus 1.6, you will get v over 1.6. And guys, this is your t2 time. Okay, so t1 we got and t2 we got, right? Now what other informations we have? We have total distance traveled by the journey. So total distance is called area, right? Area of this, yes or no? Area of this, and this is a rectangle, and this rectangle area we can find, because half times base times height. Base will be this, from A to B, that is your base. Okay, that is your base, and height is this. So if I redraw this, then this is your height that you will consider as v, and from A to B this will be considered as base, which is t1 plus t2, right? And then we will apply area of the triangle, which is half times base times height. Okay, so we will apply this. Now same thing I'm going to explain here, already I have worked. So now distance is the area of velocity time graph, so that is half times base times height. So distance is already given, that is 1600 half, and base is t1 plus t2. How we got base t1 plus t2, guys? Here you can check, right? This is t1 plus t2, and height is v. Okay, now come here. So base is t1 plus t2 and height is v. Now this is very important. We already got t1, we already got t2. So what was t1? You can check here. T1 is V over 1.2, so half V1 over 1.2, and plus T2. T2 is V over 1.6 and times V, which is V here. Okay, now we will solve this 1 over 2. And how can you solve this? Okay, let me show you this. 1 over 2 times, you can take V common. Okay, if you take V common from this bracket, then you will have 1 over 1.2 and plus 1 over 1.6 and times again V. So guys, you will get 1 over 2 times V times, and there will be a calculation for this. You can use calculator and you can get this. That will be 35 over 24, and again this is V. So guys, this V and this V you can write as V square. Okay, so I'm showing here, that is half times this one. Okay, half times this, already I told you, you will get 35 over 24 V, and that is V, right? So V square, how can we get V square guys? From here we will get, this is 35 times V square, 35 times V square, and that's equals 1600, and times, actually I have multiplied both sides by 2 times 24, here as well, here as well, and here as well. So 2 times 24, this is 2 times 24 I got. Now you can take this in denominator, or simply you can divide both sides by 35. So that is 1600 and 2 times 24 over 35. And now how can you get V guys? V you can get root, and this is 1600 and 2 times 24 over 35, right? This is your V. Now you can calculate this V. This V you will get here. What is that? 46.84. So we got our one of the questions. Okay, I think there were 2 parts, find velocity and total time. So we got velocity, I mean maximum velocity. V, what I had considered V. Okay, let me show you again. What was V? What I had considered V, you can check, this was our maximum velocity, right? So our question was to find maximum velocity, find the total time for the journey, and greatest speed. Okay, this is our greatest speed. Greatest speed means maximum velocity. Okay, so we got V. Now we need to find total time. Total time I already told you, T1 plus T2. T1 V over 1.2, V over 1.6, calculation 35 over 24 V. Okay, and now we have value of V, that is 46.84. Just calculate this, you will get 68.3 seconds. So that was the question guys. I believe you guys understood this. So thank you very much. See you in the next class. Bye.